Hey, it's early in the morning. Got a jam. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of my actionable financial literacy listeners, Facebook listeners. Welcome to the On Point broadcast with Dr. Joe Blake here, and I hope you're having a fabulous day. Woo! I know it's early, but I'd like to start out with some good jams. Welcome to this morning's broadcast. And hey, I just want to tell you, we're having a fine day here, and I hope you're having your fine morning as well. This morning broadcast, I'm telling you, packed full of information again. We're finishing up on foundation of wealth, and we're going to finish the steps that we started last week. And hey, it's going to be a good morning. All right, so let's bring up our lesson here. This is the first lesson for the year, second part of the first lesson for the year, and here is what we have. All right, so let's get going here. All right, this is lesson one, and again, we always start out with our business our model. This is the financial legacy model. The steps that we have in the inside. We start first with financial wisdom. Wisdom, in the initial model, it was knowledge, but now it's wisdom, because wisdom is the correct application of knowledge. Knowledge is the inputs that comes in. Once you get the inputs, when you know how to use those inputs, it becomes wisdom. The correct application of it is wisdom. So you still have the ethical stewardship, money basic investing, borrowing, and protecting. Those things you have as a core foundation, and you look at those things in monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and semi-annual, and a monthly or monthly basis. Those things you look at, those are the action, knowledge, and the behaviors in the middle that you look at on a consistent basis. You look at those things so you can change your behaviors, because it's our behaviors. We can have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding all together, but it's the behaviors that we need to make sure we adjust and change on a consistent basis, because we want to recreate what we've learned. Now, within that model, we want to look at those behaviors, and there's our shopping cart. Our shopping cart is what we want to take and look at, and we use that shopping cart to look at our behaviors. We want to look at the actions that we're producing. You take the shopping cart and you go through each stage of the action model. We're looking at the actions that we're producing. If we're producing those economic actions that are right, we're looking at if those actions are producing the intended consequences that we want. If it's producing that, if the first two questions are they're giving us the right results that we need, are those results monetarily flawed or not? If we're thinking that we become a millionaire overnight, and then do we have confidence that those results and those first three questions, do we have confidence that they're not monetarily flawed? Right? If there's some flaw that we're thinking that's happening, and then those first four questions, are we inspired to be able to recreate what we've learned in those first four questions? Can we make that recreate in others, our family, our greater community out there? Can that be recreated? What we've done? Can what we've done? Do you want what you created financially to be recreated in your community? what you created financially. So that's what you want to look at. All right. So we're building on all those things so we can make that better world for family, better world for the others that are following us, that we inspire to follow us. All right. So these are the areas that we're talking about in this the study. This part of the lesson. We're up to point number 4 here. But we're looking at defining, having mindset, having knowledge plans, talk about investing, assets, social impact, and having just success. And this is the foundation of wealth. So on point, we're on segment 4 here. Start about having a strategic plan and goal setting. So you may see me struggle, but you're not going to see me quit. You have that mindset when you're setting your goals and your examples. So you want to build an answer legacy requires a strategic planning and goal setting, right? So a goal is something you aim for. A plan is what you do. So you can have a goal, but you got a plan to get there. All right, you go want to be a millionaire. How are you going to do it? All right, you want to get, you say you want to be a millionaire. Well, how are you going to do it? You set that plan in place to do it. You can, you plan it. You can set your goal, and then you work towards that. That's your goal. So now, I know sometimes people like to use budgets, but from my research, I found people operate from a spending pattern. For example, if you got $100,000 a day, what would you do with it? 100 grand. You've already gave your tithes and offering, your first fruits off already. So if you got 100 grand, what would you do with it? Now, if you just describe, okay, well, I'll get that, I'll do this, I'll do that. Uh-huh. What would you do with that 100 if you got it? Think about it a little bit. Okay. Okay. Say, uh-huh. I hear you. I hear you. Yep. 100 grand, you do this. Okay. All right. If you just describe how you would spend that money, that's a spending pattern. If you said I put 10% here, 4% there, 3% there, that is a budget. You didn't define what percentage you would put someplace, uh, that's not a budget. But if you did, that is budgeting. But if you didn't define a certain percentage in a certain place at a certain, that means you don't operate from a budget, you operate from a spending pattern. And either one, just depending on who you are, if you didn't define a budget, that's okay. You operate from a spending pattern. If you did define, I'm going to use 10% here, 20% there, that's your budget. If you didn't, spending pattern. So if you operate from a spending pattern, you operate from a spending pattern, you have to just define it. So, but that strategic plan helps guide you towards your financial legacy. So you just define it. Once you identify, either you use a budget or you've used a spending plan, a spending pattern, operate from where you are. Just understand who you are. You're a budget guy or you're a spending pattern guy, and work towards your plan. And from my research, that's what I find that sometimes people don't know where they operate from. So they get themselves in a hard spot. They don't know which direction you're planning from. All right, next one. Putting away current dollars. That's investment in diversification. So investments are engine that drives wealth creation. Investments in current money for future use. Two things define you: your patience, you have nothing, and your attitude, you have everything. When you have nothing, I mean, it depends. You can be a giving person even when you have nothing. Then when you get something, you can still be a giving person then. But if if you're greedy now, you're gonna be greedy later. Greedy later. You're giving now, you'll be giving later. That's because your attitude. If you're patient about things now, you'll be patient later. And good things come to those who wait. That's another one of those sayings that are out there. So different investment strategies comes with and the importance of being diversified. And the best way I use the example is that you can have a car in each lane. So like you on a freeway, if you're on a race and you have a car in each lane, doesn't matter who you're going to still win because you got a car in every lane. That's diversification. That's an example of diversification. You're racing down the freeway, but you got a car in every lane. One way or another, you're going to win because you got a car in each lane. So you got to be able to balance that. When you balance it that way, that's how you balance the risk, you balance the return, because you're still going to win in the end. So you got to understand where you invest your money is crucial to building that robust, uh, you know, rate of return. So and there's more than one way to get to that wealthy place. Some people say, "Oh, you got to buy this, or you got to buy that, or you got to have this. This is the one way to do it. This is the one way." You got to have a little bit of everything. Truly, a little bit of everything. There's no one way to get there. There's always a little bit of it all. You got to have a little bit of real estate. You got to have a little bit of stocks. You got to have a little bit of other investment vehicles. A mixture of those things help you get to that wealthy point. Not just one. You got to have a little mixture of everything to help you get to. That's the balance. That's the diversification. You can have mutual funds. You can have stocks. You can have real estate. It's a mixture of those things to help you get to that wealthy point. Because in one case, homes may not be it in the season. You have to rely on those stocks. Stocks may not be that in one season. You got to rely on the real estate. But that's how you diversify your own personal portfolio. And like I said, one way of investing is not the only way. It's a way. So you got to have that diversification in your own portfolio. You got to have their own diversification in your personal portfolio. Gotta go back. 6.6 talks about putting away current dollars again. Here's you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Right. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you got to start now. Because, man, I'll be 58 this year. I even hate to say that, man. But I remember when I was 28, like it was yesterday. I remember when I was 28, like it was yesterday. And time just flies like that. I was 27 years old when I bought my first house. This is my third house. And I'm 57, ready to turn 58. So, and it's my third house. First time I bought a house, I was a young cat, 27 years old when I bought my first house. And I bought my first house, it was $112,000 when I bought my first house. The house I have now is worth almost $600,000. And that short 30 years, that period of time, it goes like that. So creating and preserving your wealth requires you got to be comprehensive about it. You got to be understanding that it's in that short period of time. It can go. Good thing I bought my house. When I bought it was like $230, but now it's almost $600. Whoo! If I waited to buy a house now versus when I was 27, my gosh, it'd be hard. It'd be hard. I'm glad I got it now. So you got to have a plan in place to once you get to that point where you have that, to protect your assets, have strategies in place, a long-term financial plan for the well-being for your future generations. So I'm planning on being here for another 30, 40 years. I'm gonna be in my hundreds. I mean, my 100 years. This what I create is now for my children and my children's children. But you don't want to wait until you're 70, 80 years old before you start your financial future. You want to be able to start it beforehand. And sometimes I always ask my folks that I'm sitting down with, what do you want your life to be? A lesson or an example? A lesson means they can pick your life up, read it in the book, and something to follow from. They can follow it and learn it, and repeat that lesson because it's written down. They can have it in the book, and they can teach it themselves in the lesson. Example is like, no, I ain't doing that. I see that over there. Oh, maybe I'll try that. No, I ain't doing it. No, is your life a lesson or an example? All right, that's 6. Let's go on to 7. All right. Social impact and giving back. Pluck a tree, plant a tree. A negative mind will never give you a positive life. So you got to be around positive people to help put that positive spin into life. There's positive influence in your life to help you do good things and be good things. So wealth isn't just about personal gain. It's also about the opportunity to positively impact society, positively be able to give back and share what you've learned, share what you've been able to experience and gain, and give back to others. That's one of the big things I'm able to do is because I'm able to teach at the local community college, and knowing where I came from, where there wasn't much there in the inner city, um, and be able to come out of the inner city and be where I'm at now. For me, that's my give back, because I know the folks who go to the community college may not have the ability to go to the major universities that are out there and be able to get gain a lot of information. So the folks that are at the community college are like me. They were like me, and may not have the outstanding opportunity to go to the Yales or the Harvards and things like that and get that information. But I bring it to them. I bring them my all. And in the local community around here, I'm able to, reach out and talk to other folks. And I'm heavily involved with my church, and sometimes people go to the church and get information, and I know they don't get, get a chance to get that much exposure to someone with. I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but get some information from someone that has a educational level as myself to be able to give back. So I do that, be able to give back. So that social impact that you have that you can give back. That's another means of being the wealth thought, that wealth idea, that give back mentality. So you can explore the concept of giving back. Philanthropy is another point as you get to that wealthy point. Get back from a money standpoint. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, um, and guys like that give more money. And then they got cash, so they give millions. You know, actually, I want to get to that level so I can go back and give millions, and I'll give millions away as well for worthy causes. Education is always a worthy cause. Giving building, giving houses. I like those boxable homes and things like that. I like giving. I wouldn't mind giving things like that back to the community because uh, sustainable homes. Uh, Sustainable homes is a good thing to be able to give, so other folks can have a place to live and not be on the streets for the homeless. That is a wonderful gift to be able to give back. So that's being socially responsible. And if you can include that into your game plan, into your wealth creation plan, that is a meaningful legacy that you can leave. They'll always remember you because of what you gave back to society. I would think that'd be a great way to be able to. So a negative mind won't be able to give you that, but a positive life, yes, you can give that back. You can give that back. All right, point 8: case studies, success stories, those things as well. So always share inspiring case studies, or success stories of individuals um, who built and maintained a financial legacy. Don't show off, talk less, learn daily, help less fortunate, laugh more, and ignore nonsense. I think about the folks that I've impacted when they've come into the business with me. One guy, um, he came into the business with me. He saved up. I know his account value was up to like 50,000. He ended up going to college to get a degree. He's has a business himself now. I have um, other clients, helped them get up to like 200,000. They went on to doing some great things themselves as well, each. So they got half a million between them. Um, I have another client still with me. His account value is over half a million as well. Just to see how you have clients, and some stay with you, some to get to a certain point, then they move on, which is fine. At least I got them to the point where they have their funds and they move on. They get to a certain level and they move on. That's okay. I know how far I got them, and they were satisfied to a certain point, and then they go where they need to go. But it's okay because God gave it to me. I got them to where they needed to go, and it makes it uh, good in my heart, where I was able to get them where they wanted to be. And when you do that, it makes me feel good. But hey, I got them to this point. So it's the success is not you have to have a successor. So I have other folks that are still with me, and I help get them to train them to get their understanding, and other associates that are around me to move forward. Give them the same knowledge, same wisdom, same understanding, so they can understand what they need to do to get themselves to move forward. So the real world examples can provide valuable insights. I can't use names because of privacy standards, so I can't give you names and things like that. Get in trouble for that one. um, uh, so, but the insights and these insights can inspire others. So you want to share. I can tell you about my kids too. Like I said, all four of them got master's degrees. All four of my clients, and when my kids, and they would follow me around and see me do my thing, and just them seeing me, because more, my pastor says, is more is caught than taught. They caught it all, and that's how they are overachievers as well. Daddy didn't have to say much. They just watch that daddy get on fire and roll, and they did follow the same step. All four master's degrees, and I didn't have to push it. They just said, "Daddy got it. We gonna get it too." And now my grandson was here the other day. He said, I can search my grandpa's name, and his name comes up. He's got a picture, and my grandpa wrote 2 books. So if my grandson says that, he's 11, he'll be 12 this year. He sees it at 12. So you know what's going to do? That's going to fire his little booty boy up, and he's going to go out there and do it as well. So you create that legacy for your family, but for your grandkids to say the same thing about you, and they don't have to. You don't have to tell them. They see it, and they're going to go do it themselves. So you create that legacy also in that fashion. All right. That the last line? All right. So this is just another picture. Shows the market and the economy, and over time, this is the description that says you got to plant your seed, give it some time, then you reap the harvest. So it's not overnight. Doesn't happen in a day, doesn't happen in a month, doesn't happen in a year. It's over time, and you put that seed away, and over time you get that mountain of cash at the end. That's the time, and then you have that kind of, you can leave that legacy, you can leave that inheritance to your children's children. That's the purpose of this, being able to leave that legacy, leave that inheritance to your children's children. There are means and ways to get a hold of me there. So my cell number, you can download my app. It's the Actionable Financial Literacy is the app. But that's the link you would actually be able to click there. But it's the Actionable Financial Literacy app. You get that on the Apple Store, and you can also go to the Google Play Store and get my app. And you can get some of the principles that I share here, some more things that I share here. My second book will be out, and there's up in the corner here. My second book will be out in March. It's going to come out in March, and it'll have the more new insights about the financial legacy, and you'll learn more things about that. And then there's my calendar if you want to make an appointment with me, a book link, Patreon page, and if you want to be a webinar guest as well. So follow one course until you're successful. That's one of my mantras. And here's another saying that I have about money. Money only speaks one language. If you save me today, I'll save you tomorrow. I tell you, money. If you don't have something, if you're old, nothing wrong with being old, and there's nothing wrong with being old, and nothing wrong with being poor or broke. But if you're old and broke, that's when it's a tragedy. Because you're old and you need money, that's tough. And that's when it becomes a situation where it's hard. Because the old person and they don't have the funds or the resources to take care of themselves, it can be a hard thing for people. Hard thing for an individual. And it makes it a burden. Sometimes it can be a burden on society when that person or that individual no longer has a means of taking care of themselves. And so the idea really is to be able to make yourself to be self-sustainable. But if you can't take care of yourself and the society has to take care of you, that's when sometimes it can become an issue, and it's not good. And then people don't like it, and then you become a burden on society, or a burden on your family, or a burden to somebody, and then it doesn't do you no good, doesn't do them no good, and it's not a good situation. So don't find yourself in it. Don't put yourself in a situation when you can do something about it now. Do it now, so you won't find yourself in that position later. And that's kind of like I'm trying to close this thing. It's not working for me. I guess that's life sometimes. There we go. All right, that's life sometimes. So with that, this has been Dr. Joe Blake with the Accidental Financial Literacy Center. Hope you have had a wonderful day. Hope you learned some things, and we look forward to seeing you next week on the same bat channel at the same bat time. Y'all know what I'm saying. See you guys next week, next time. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be blessed.